Federation Villas, which is owned by the state, is in a rundown condition, according to Minister in the Office of the Prime Minister, Stuart. He was responding to a front-page story in the Daily Express headlined Secret Keys, which stated that 3 government officials were granted rent-to-own properties at the upscale Victoria Keys development in Diego Martin. At today's post-cabinet media briefing, he explained that this was not the case. Minister in the Office of the Prime Minister, Stuart, said Minister of Tourism, Shamfa and Minister in the Office of the Prime Minister, Gender and Child Affairs, Ayanna Webster-Roy, are being housed at Victoria Keys while in government, adding that they have also foregone their housing allowance.
When these ministers give up office and they're no longer in office, or for whatever reason, these premises will be returned to the state. They're owned by the government. I was saying that it is actually a disadvantage to them because they now forego their housing allowance. If they utilize their housing allowance, they could have purchased a property, maybe apply their housing allowance towards a mortgage, so when they left office, they would have premises of their own and in their name, etc.
He said the accommodation was provided for the MPs as they predominantly reside in Tobago.
Their house is in Tobago, they live in Tobago. But because we have Minister Shamfa Cudjoe, who is the Minister of Tourism, and then we have Minister Ayanna Webster-Roy, who is the Minister of State in the Office of Prime Minister, responsible for Gender and Children Affairs, a decision, according to the SRC, they are allowed certain allowances. Ministers are allowed a housing allowance, as you're all aware.
And although the Vice President of the Senate, Nigel de Freitas, is not entitled to a housing allowance, the Cabinet took a decision to provide Mr. de Freitas with housing as he mainly resides in Tobago. Minister Young said Federation Villas is in a deplorable condition.
The Federation Villas deteriorated and there had to be a number of repairs to be carried out, etc. When we came into office, we found, despite the millions of dollars, and I have the information here, spent apparently and allegedly on refurbishing these villas for the names that I'll soon tell you about between the period of 2010 to 2015. When we came into office, these Federation Villas were in a state of rundown.
Minister Young reminded that Cabinet took a decision in February 2016 to reserve a certain number of Victoria Keys apartments for use by the government. He confirmed Project Management Advisor on Physical Infrastructure to the Prime Minister, Steve Gardner, and Special Advisor to the Prime Minister on Agriculture, Dr. John Allen, are 2 other persons occupying apartments at the Victoria Keys. Records have been destroyed and computers have been wiped at the Ministry of Housing and the HDC with specific reference to what took place during 2010 to 2015, according to the Minister in the Office of the Prime Minister, Stuart. But he said they have been able to ascertain from records and persons who dealt with Federation Villas a list of names, including the names of former government ministers who occupied Federation Villas even though they had their own housing in Trinidad.
Mr. Dave Tanku, he was assigned villa number 15 at Federation Villas. Mr. Shem Baldeo Singh was assigned villa number 5. Rudal Munilal was assigned villa number 10. Ashwat Jack was assigned villa number 3. Delman Baker assigned villa number 2. Vanilla Allen Toppin assigned villa number 8. Mr. Wade Mark and Mr. Jack Warner were also assigned villas but did not utilize them, so that was subsequently set aside. The then Attorney General, Anand Ramlogan, was strangely assigned 2 villas, 1 and 7. And Mr. Barry Padarat was assigned a unit at Flagstaff.
Mr. Young questioned why they were all given accommodation with the exception of the 2 Tobago MPs.
We have searched the Cabinet records and we can find absolutely no decision taken by a Cabinet with respect to any of those individuals I've just named being provided with housing at Federation Villas, which were constructed and designed as upscale townhouses for government ministers from Tobago, etc., or for Mr. Barry Padarat at Flagstaff.
He said according to preliminary reports, over $6 million was spent by the previous administration to maintain the villas.
So we now call upon the former administration to explain to the people of Trinidad and Tobago why wasn't a cabinet decision taken with respect to the provision of housing at these high-end level housing to these various people that I've named.